Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So it is the end of the season. Gonna give you Man United player season ratings. Sorry, Man United season player ratings. So we'll start off with David De Gea. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. De Gea obviously missed that penalty in the Europa League final, and he had 11 chances to save a penalty, and I think he should have saved at least one of them. De Gea produced his best performances after the Everton collapse in February, and he reacted well when Dane Anderson got put as our number one goalkeeper. De Gea also put a very good performance out in Rome in the semi-final. I think De Gea is going to be leaving Manchester United in the summer transfer window. There has been talks of a De Gea and Jan Oblak swap deal, obviously to solve our number one crisis. Jan Oblak is valued at around £70 million. Earlier on this year, it said that De Gea had made his transfer decision. It said that he's preparing to leave Manchester United. And it said we're set to pay off his huge contract. De Gea has like 2 years left on his current contract, and he's on £375,000 a week. I reckon De Gea's now had his years at Man United. He's endured 10 years at the club, so he has been a long servant. He's had around 8 good years out of the 10 years he's been with us. So yeah, I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Next, Dane Anderson. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Dane Anderson did well in a lot of the games he was in goal for. You know, he kept a lot of clean sheets. His distribution was good. He made good saves, and he also made some good aerial claims. I thought Dane Anderson was disappointing in our 3-1 win against Burnley. He looked very shaky when he was off his line, and also made some errors in the 4-2 defeat to Liverpool. I reckon Dane Anderson has got a long-term future at Man United. We made the right decision putting him as number one. You know, Anderson has got that experience behind him. He did endure 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. He's also had other loan spells before, so he has got that experience behind him. Before the start of the season, he did sign a 6-year contract with Man United, so reflecting on that, he committed his future to the club. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for Henderson. Next, Juan Mata. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Defensively has been superb, but he needs to show more in the final third. You know, there was some games last season where he showed very good attacking intent, and he did get in some decent positions, and his crossing was also good in some games. He actually did well in the Europa League final. And Wan-Bissaka has now endured 2 full seasons at Man United We got him in a deal worth 50 million from Palace in the summer of 2019. I'm convinced he can emulate into next Gary Neville. He's one of our best right backs since Gary Neville. Now, next one. Harry Maguire. 6 out of 10. Pretty average. You know, he's enjoyed some good games, but he's also enjoyed bad games as well. Harry Maguire is obviously got ligament damage in his ankle. He sustained the ankle injury in our 3-1 win against Aston Villa. He was part of the squad for the final, but obviously couldn't play because he did miss the final training session. Solskjaer revealed that. I think Harry Maguire did score in our 2-1 defeat to Sheffield United. Scored, is it around 2 or 3 goals for us? He's our most expensive centre. He's the most expensive centre half in the world at the moment because we got him in a deal worth 80 million. And he is the second most expensive signing at the club. So yeah, 6 out of 10 for him. Next, Victor Lindelof. I'll give him a 5 out of 10. I think he was poor in a lot of his games. You know, he's too easily predictable, Lindelof. He makes far too many mistakes. And doesn't really go well alongside Maguire in our back line. I want us to sell Lindelof in the summer transfer window, but I don't think we will. Lindelof's been at the club now for quite a few years. We got him in a deal worth 31 million from Benfica back in 2017. So just a 5 out of 10 for Lindelof. Eric Bailly, 6 out of 10. Yeah, he did well in some games. But I thought towards the end of the season, Eric Bailly looked off the pace. You know, he weren't good in the final. I thought he was poor in the 4-2 defeat to Liverpool. You know, Bailly could have given 2 penalties away in that game. One from a handball and one for a foul on Phillips. But I still prefer Bailly to Lindelof. Obviously, Bailly, I think, has now got another injury. I think he had an injury at some point last season. He's injury prone. Not so long ago, he signed a new contract with Man United until 2024. And there's an option of a further year. We got Bailly from Villarreal back in 2016 for £30 million. So 6 out of 10. Axel Tuanzebe. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Even though he seldom plays. Tuanzebe put a good performance out against Wolves at Molineux. That was our final Premier League game of the season. The best game I recall Tuanzebe having was the PSG one. There was also another game as well when he was very, very good. So 7 out of 10 for him. Next, Brandon Williams. 4 out of 10. You know, Brandon Williams seldom plays. He hardly played any games last season. But the games he played in, I thought he did actually well. You know, Williams played well in the 2-1 defeat to Leicester. He was playing at, was it right back in that game? Didn't do too bad. But nowhere near effective on the right as he is on the left. He played well in the Wolves game, which was our final game. So yeah, so just a 4 out of 10 for him. I think we need to loan Brandon Williams out, so he can get a lot more opportunities and he can gain more experience, because he is now our third choice left back. Next, Luke Shaw. He's going to get a 8 out of 10. Luke Shaw was our best player during the season. In a lot of his games, he showed very good attacking intent. He got into very good positions. He put good crosses into the box, created good chances for his teammates, provided that width, and defensively was superb. But towards the end of the season, Luke Shaw did look off the pace for like 3 games in a row. Luke Shaw still remains our first choice left back despite the arrival of Telles last summer. But I think he's had a good career at Man United despite his injuries. He's been at the club now for like 7 years. We got him for £30 million from Southampton. Was it back in 2014? Next, Alex Telles. I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10. Hardly played last season. He did play in some games, and in some of the games he was involved in, he looked actually very, very good. Will Telles leave Man United in the summer transfer window, or do you think he'll stay for next season? Telles has now enjoyed 1 full season at Man United. Don't forget at one point as well, he did have COVID. He is our second choice left back. When we got him last summer though, I expected him to be our first choice left back immediately. We got him in a deal worth 15.4 million with add-ons included from Porto. So yeah, 4 out of 10 for Telles. Next, Paul Pogba. 8 out of 10. Paul Pogba scored the key winners against AC Milan and Fulham away from home in the league. Like I said, we have been getting the best out of him in recent months. I hope Paul Pogba stays at Man United, potentially past the summer. And we need to keep him in that more of an advanced role, because that's where he's more effective. He's much better in an advanced role than he is in a deeper role. If Paul Pogba does leave Man United in the summer transfer window, he will go back to Juventus, because he did enjoy 4 good years with them before he rejoined Man United. But Real Madrid have been linked to him. PSG have been in for him. Actually, Minio Raiola has offered Paul Pogba to PSG. Yeah, Barcelona have been in for him as well. So he has had a long-running transfer saga. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's our most expensive signing, because we paid £89 million for him, and he's enjoyed 5 seasons at the club since he rejoined from Juventus. One report came out yesterday and said that Paul Pogba intends to stay at Man United beyond this season. Matthias Pogba, Paul Pogba's brother, he recently said he wants Paul Pogba to join Barcelona. And not so long ago it said Pogba could leave for just 55 million in the summer transfer window. His current contract expires next year. Because don't forget, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. Not so long ago it said we'll offer Paul Pogba a new £400,000 a week contract, but he's demanding £500,000 a week. It actually said we'll sell Paul Pogba if he doesn't sign a new contract. And Mini Oriol has obviously been working hard to try and convince his client out of Man United. So yeah, I said 8 out of 10, I think, didn't I? Yeah, for Pogba. Next, Fred. He's going to get a 6 out of 10, average. He did have some good games last season, but he also enjoyed quite a lot of bad games as well. The worst game he had last season was the game against Leicester in the FA Cup quarter-final when we lost 3-1 because he made mistakes in that game, gave the ball away countless times, and he was accountable for Leicester's first goal. We overpaid for Fred. We got him in a deal worth 52 million from Shakhtar Donetsk. Next, McTominay. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Thought he had some good games last season. The best game that Tomway had last season was the 6-2 win against Leeds because, he scored twice in that game, didn't he? In the first 3-4 minutes. He also played well in the game against Watford in the FA Cup third round last season. And there's other games as well he played well, and he played very, very well in the Europa League final. I thought he was our best player. We've got to give McTominay more time at the club. He's still young and he's got a lot of development in him, but obviously he's not on that level where we want him to be at as yet. Next, Nemanja Matic. Let's give him a 5 out of 10. Enjoyed a lot of poor games, Matic, hasn't he? But there's been some games where he has looked consistent. I think there's a good chance we'll offload Nemanja Matic in the summer transfer window. Matic has been at the club for a year now. We got him in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Next is Donnie Van Der Beek. 4 out of 10. Doesn't get enough opportunities at Man United. I think he only started 4 games in the league last season. To his credit though, he did score on his debut on the opening day against Crystal Palace when we lost 3-1. Van Der Beek also put a good performance out against Wolves on the final day of the Premier League season. Will Donnie Van Der Beek leave Man United in the summer transfer window? He has enjoyed 1 full season at the club. It did say not so long ago that we will reject any offers for Donnie Van Der Beek this summer. So reflecting on that, we are reluctant to let him go. Last season, it said at one point that Donnie Van Der Beek threatened to quit Man United after 1 season due to his lack of game time, but at one point Solskjaer did promise Van Der Beek more game time. At one point Van Der Beek was out with injury. And actually Ronald de Boer backed Donnie Van Der Beek to become a success at Man United. And he said he still felt loved at the club despite his lack of game time. But we need to use him more. Van Der Beek is a very, very good player. He's versatile. He can play in like 3 different roles. We got him in a deal worth 40 million from Ajax last year. Next, Bruno Fernandez. He's going to get a 8 out of 10. in a lot of his games at Man United, he's been very, very consistent, and last season he was as well. But there has been quite a few games where he has looked off the pace. But we have overplayed Bruno Fernandez. Bruno Fernandez not so long ago won Player of the Year. And he's won Player of the Month quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. Bruno Fernandez was very, very disappointed when we lost that Europa League final. Because obviously he said when he came in, he's come to Manchester to win trophies. Fernandez is set to sign a new contract. He said he's close to agreeing a new £200,000 a week contract after he admitted that he's happy with the progress of Solskjaer's team. So willing to double his wages because he's on around £100,000 a week at the moment. Fernandez's current contract expires in 2025. There's also an option of a further 12 months. At one point, it said Fernandez was actually refusing to sign a new contract until he had assurances over the club's transfer plans. And he actually said he wanted Pogba to commit his future before he commits his own future. We initially paid 47 million for Fernandez, but the overall cost with add-ons is just over 67 million pound. Yeah, Fernandez, he's one of the best signings we've made since Ferguson retired, and he is our best player. So yeah, next, Mason Greenwood, 7 out of 10. He enjoyed quite a lot of good games last season. But don't forget, there was a period where he didn't score a goal for a while. Greenwood's done very, very well in a lot of his games since he broke into our senior squad. He made his senior debut in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7, so he has been part of the club for a long time. And he did sign a 4-year contract last season. He deserved a new contract though, reflecting on his good performances. Obviously, Ole has defended Mason Greenwood a lot and he's spoken a lot about him in general. Last season, a few times we played him centrally and a few times we played him on the right. But wherever we seem to put him, we seem to get the best out of him. He's got a long-term future at Man United. Next, Nemanja Traore, 7 out of 10. Even though he's hardly played, but reflects on the games being involved in, he's impressed me. Obviously, Nemanja Traore scored his first goal for the club against AC Milan. He also played well in the 2-1 defeat to Leicester. That was his full Premier League debut. Showed some nice touches in that. And he also played well in the game against Wolves. I said he looks a very good asset for the first team squad. We got a Nemanja Traore in a deal worth £37 million from Atlanta. We played £19 million up front. Next one, Juan Mata. Seven out of 10. Obviously, he didn't play a lot of games, did he, last season? But I thought in the games he was involved in, he actually played very, very well. Juan Mata did well against Wolves on the final game of the Premier League season. Obviously scored from the penalty spot. that was a special moment for Juan Mata. And in general, put a good performance out. I thought some of his link-up play was good against Wolves. I think Juan Mata's going to be leaving Man United in the summer transfer window. Even though Solskjaer did say not so long ago that no decision has yet been made on Juan Mata's future. His current contract expires very soon. He has an option to trigger his contract for a further year. I think in the Carabao Cup against Brighton as well, towards the start of last season, I thought he put a very good performance out. At one point, Juan Mata rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. But Mata's enjoyed 7 years at Man United. Next, Daniel James. 5 out of 10. He did alright in some games last season. But for the vast majority of last season, didn't hardly play. But then, all of a sudden, Daniel James got his way back into the team for a month or so. I don't think Daniel James will leave Man United in the summer transfer window. Well, he could do, I don't know. But he certainly hasn't got a long-term future at Man United. Next, Marcus Rashford. 6 out of 10. Average. Enjoyed quite a few poor games last season. Especially towards the end of the season. But he's had good games as well. And Rashford has become injury prone at Man United. He has now sustained quite a few injuries. He did actually sustain a knock in the Europa League final. We've just got to keep Rashford on that left-hand side because that's where he's more effective. You know, I don't like Rashford on the right wing and I don't like him up top because he's not effective there. But yeah, we know that obviously Rashford's going to be staying at Man United. Next, Edison Cavani. 8 out of 10. Cavani was good last season. He really, really was. Scored some very, very good goals. He scored a fantastic goal in our 3-1 win against Tottenham. It was a diving header. Also scored a superb goal in the 1-1 draw with Fulham towards the end of the season. Edison Cavani was 40 yards out. Cavani also scored our equaliser in the Europa League final. Cavani also scored in the game against Roma. Didn't he get 2 in that game if I can remember rightly? Yes, he did. He also got 2 in the first leg. Cavani's not only good though scoring goals, you know, his hold-up play is good, his movement in and around the box is good, and he's very, very good at creating chances. And I'm very, very delighted that Cavani is staying at Man United for next season because not so long ago he signed a 1-year contract that was confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. Last one I'm on now, I think. And that's Anthony Martial. 3 out of 10. Obviously, Martial has been out with a knee injury for a while. Obviously, he couldn't play in the final. But at first part of last season, obviously, he wasn't out with injury. I only recall him having like 1 or 2 good games last season. Martial is no longer good enough to represent Man United. You know, the chances were there for him in the games he played in last season, but he didn't convert them. And don't forget, he did get sent off in our 6-1 defeat to Tottenham. I reckon Martial's had around 2 good seasons out of the 5 seasons he's been with us. You know, he was good the season before last, and he did well under Louis van Gaal area. So yeah, that is your Man United season player ratings. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. And there'll be more videos tomorrow.